hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Wednesday in the Riv, hump day. And boy, we got a lot to talk about here today. But
hey, I want to start out with that lovely tax that we pay.
No. Let's first quickly tell them that there was a shooting. There was shots fired.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There was a shooting.
Shots fired. There's a fire right now on Florence Street. There's a fire on Florence Street, and there was shots fired on Langley. And we want everybody to know that the public safety, hey Jeff, that our public safety departments are on the job, and this city is safe, and we never have any problems because Paul said everything's beautiful. So go ahead, CJ, take it away.
Well, I want to talk about some of the lovely things, the tax that none of us like, okay? And for some reason, these idiot voters 10 years ago approved in Fall River a tax on our tax.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, figure that one out. The Community Preservation Act tax.
Or better known as the Community Pilfering Act.
That's right.
So they can steal money from us. That's what the P stands for.
That's what they love to do.
Steal money and do whatever.
That's the city's fund.
And give it to their friends. And listen, I was never in favor of it from the beginning. I'm not so lightly that's now complaining. I said when they did it, and look, I'm not gonna. You like the voters were stupid. Look, no, yeah, well, they were uninformed as usual. They got lied to again. But
of course,
I agree with you that our voters are at fault because they do not educate themselves.
No, they don't. They just listen to the line of bullshit that is spewed by the politicians, and they don't do what we tell them to do. Do your own research.
No,
how many times have we said that? How many?
No, you're right. Like the charter, we told them we had evidence that they were not doing that. What they put on the ballot was not what they did with the charter, which was illegal. Hey, Gene, we know that that's not a complete scrapping of the charter was not right. Everything that Coogan said they were going to do was a lie.
Right.
Hey, Gene, we know that you don't worry, you're not going to be paying, and we are paying. We have to do it this way. No, you don't have to do it this way. We had proof that communities had done it differently. But the CPA from the get-go, the government can't spend money wisely. Look at Minnesota. Look at California. Look at every state. And in this state, we need an audit. Actually, I've decided that I'm going to call the ACLU and see if they'll file a complaint because
that's another useless organization.
I know. Well, I'm going to let them be
asking for money. They want 63 cents a day to defend your constitutional rights. But every time you call them, unlike Rhode Island, every time you call the Massachusetts ACLU, they turn around and say, we can't take it, hire a private attorney. If I could afford to hire a private attorney, I wouldn't be calling you, you dumb shit.
No, you're right. I did it. But Colin, welcome. We're going to be talking about something in your wheelhouse, but this CPA from the get-go, I said, the government cannot spend money wisely. We pay enough taxes, and now above all, with the new tax bills out, and everybody's not happy at all, we need to remove this. We need the voters to get together again, and all our viewers, we need people to get together. We need to put this on a ballot. We need to take this out because this is look, from the beginning. I've been against it. They've given money for people for air conditioners, and half of them are politically connected. Like
the air conditioner for the Children's Museum for Sprague's wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. And the other one was for the library air conditioners were priority. And now I know there's another issue going on over there that may be a conflict of interest that you can illuminate.
Well, let's look at what is coming up on the 8th and the 9th. That's tomorrow and Friday. They're having hearings on CPA funding. $25,000 to establish clear title and save nearly 35 acres of city-owned land in the bioreserve. If the city owns it, what do they need $25,000 for? How's that one? Hey, wait, let's go a little more. $28,750 for a study to discover and document the historic assets on the city's waterfront. Now, this one's a little controversial because this is being applied for by CAN, which is Dave and Sandy Dennis's organization. Oh, wait a minute. Sandy Dennis works for the CPA. Rick Mancini on the Historic Commission provided his testimony and documentation that this should happen and sent it on to the CPA and then voted for it. Now, if Sandy Dennis has a vested interest in getting this money and Mancini voted for it after testifying for it, doesn't that sound like a conflict of interest to you?
Absolutely. And Boomer, yeah, you're right. About this has already been adopted. We have to repeal it, and there's a legal methodology. But we need the people to get together again. Maybe this is it. Yeah, we've told you this is absurd. The CPA is, government can't run anything. You got conflicts of interest. We've had people get money for ridiculous things, and $28,000 for study. Why should we, you and I, and everybody else, and the taxpayers of Massachusetts too, because there's matching funds from the state.
That's right.
Which we pay state tax to, so we're paying twice for this study. Right. You know something right there for the study. They should have made that study with some of the $7 million that Paul Coogan gave the damn Duval corridor for lights that we were going to get for free.
And benches.
And benches. $7 million freaking dollars for lights and benches, not to reduce the tax rate, not to do anything. Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's what we need. We need, and I think it's time. I mean, the taxes are coming out by budget time in June. We're going to see all kinds. I mean, it's impossible. But
because remember, we did the city council gave themselves a blank check.
Well, let me make this clear. CJ and I, before it was passed, we spoke out against it.
That's right.
I think
everything we've spoken out against. Everything. The charter, the debt exclusion, the CPA, and how many other things? Yeah, they just said we were being negative. Now we look at it and guess what?
Right.
Now we're right. We were negative before, but now we're right.
Yeah, but the thing is that the CPA, I told them, I'm not going to give my money to go paint houses or give politically connected people money.
Right, like David Hebert.
Yeah, Hebert, a guy that was involved in a criminal proceeding.
That's right.
Found guilty. Or pleaded, no, I don't know what they did. He made a plea deal. But the fact is, he made a plea deal.
Right.
More money. These people last forever. They never go away. Now, this morning, I heard that Tom Coogan, the guy who sat at contract negotiations with his two brothers, Mike, the guy who got thrown out of a union, who now is a business agent for a useless union called AFSCME, which is no more than a dues collection agency. So he's now negotiating for the union. He's now a union rep with his brother Mike, and they're now negotiating with the school committee in Somerset. Boy, ain't it great to be politically connected. You're never going to go without a job. You can get thrown out of a union for selling your membership down the road, and somebody will find you a union that's even more, that's corrupt enough to hire you.
That's it. Hey, let me finish these because it's interesting. $33,000 to survey historic sites in the southeastern Massachusetts Bioreserve, including old Native American sites, house and barn foundations, trails, and more. $100,000 to restore and repaint the exterior of the Fall River Deaconess home at 603 Rock Street. $125,000 for mortar repairs at St. Anne's Church and Shrine on South Main Street. $143,405 for windows at the Eagle Event Center on North Main Street. $200,000 to build a sensory-friendly playground for children with autism at Abbott Court. $240,000 to repair a nearly century-old shed at the city's waterworks complex and convert it to a cold storage building. $250,000 to repair cracked tennis, pickleball, basketball, and hopscotch courts at 7 city playgrounds. $350,000 to stabilize the tower at the Christ the Rock Church on Rock Street, which is undergoing repair. $350,000 to replace 75 windows at 104 Anawan Street. Does that address sound familiar?
Yeah.
Wasn't Snow Owl located there?
Mm-hmm.
$370,000 for the Maritime Museum at Battleship Cove to restore its building on Water Street, including window replacements. $400,000 to renovate of a city-owned pocket park on Columbia and Canal Street across from Santa Cristo Church. $405,820 to replace 67 windows at the former district courthouse at 45 Rock Street, which is now Greater Fall River Recreation, like they don't get enough money from Fall River already. $500,000 for a new parking facility, landscaping, lighting, and more at Father Kelly and Thomas Chew Parks at Globe and South Main Street. Have you ever seen a parking facility over there? I haven't.
This is outrageous.
What?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think everybody gets the point now. This is outrageous. They're just looking for.
Oh no, there's three are the big ones. $582,735 for major repairs and restore the exterior of the Fall River Historical Society building. $720,000 to buy and preserve a parcel of land just north of Adirondack Farm on Blossom Road. And finally, $816,750 to build a welcome area, info kiosk, comfort station, and bike repair shop at the Adirondack Farm as part of the Bioreserve Discovery Center. Is that enough money for you?
Well, listen. This is outrageous. Half of those expenditures are to buildings and for things that people are already getting subsidized for by somebody else. We're just pumping. It seems like every political tick in the world, they must have a big meeting at the end of the year and draw from a lottery to who's going to get the money. And this is a waste. Let these people find their own money. Look at, with all due respect to the Fall River Historical Society, let them do a fundraiser.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I don't pay taxes for them to build a shed for the water department, because the water department has a budget. Why didn't they maintain the freaking shed in the first place?
Why didn't they put that in their budget?
Why didn't they put it in the budget? Because they don't have to.
No,
they don't have to. They're just going to. Then they're going to go back and ask for the increase in water rates.
That's right.
They can't spend. They can't stop spending money. Listen, this is the problem. And this is a voluntary tax, and they got conned into it. Like they said, we're only going to tweak the charter, and they threw it out and wrecked it. We told you that, but nobody listened.
Let me
You
tell you
voted on
something.
it. The ballot question was a lie, and now you got screwed. And the CPA, they lied. They talked about historical buildings it's going to be used for historical buildings. And bullshit. Half of this is for bullshit for the water department, for the other departments, and every other department. This is
Here's
bullshit,
the kicker.
and they're wasting millions of taxpayer dollars.
Here's the kicker. The lottery is a voluntary tax, okay? But at least with the lottery, you know you're getting fucked.
That's right. Oh, yeah, you know it.
Yeah, so there's no question about it.
But this one they sold is like Coogan sold Durfee. Oh, you're not going to pay anything. By the time
I know.
8 years go by, we won't owe a dime. Well, screw you, Paulie. Not only are we paying, you won't even tell us what we're paying.
How much we're paying.
So we're going to do the same thing with Diamond. This is nuts. I mean, the CPA has got to go. We've been saying that. We didn't want it to come, but now it's got to go. Let's go, Boomer. Let's go, everybody. Let's get together again like we did before, and let's get some citizens.
I believe
and build a network that will vote in the next election and vote in this election and begin to clean house. Because I'll tell you, I heard that our new council president said the voters have spoken. We're going to go in a new direction. Well, I don't know what new direction that is, because you're the guy that took away our right to freaking determine how much money you spend.
That's right.
Is that the direction you're going in, Cliff? That's not a direction I want to go in. And Diamond is on the way down the pipe. But we got some serious
Gene, Diamond is D-I-M-A-N. Stop using voice to
Diamond. That's Diamond as in a gem. Okay. He's probably using audio.
He's using voice to text.
And when you put that, it puts the wrong thing in.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do this because the CPA has got, this is the straw that broke. And look, I know some people on this. I know Sandy Dennis. She's a nice girl, nice lady. I know I have conversations with a member of that committee. And, I make no bones about it. We have our conversations. He knows I never wanted that thing. They have maybe done some good. But the fact is, in the city of Fall River, people can't pay their rents. They can't afford food. And now we got a tax, a levy, to put in windows for places that should be able to do it with their own budgets, or they have to do fundraising. We're giving them add-ons to other money. And some of these things are getting a lot of funding from state and other agencies, and it's bullshit. And if you look at the names of the people who are getting it, and as you said, that's a serious conflict of interest.
Yeah.
I believe, to me, and remember what the ethics law says. It says even a perception. Even
the Ethics Commission doesn't give a shit, though.
But no, the Ethics Commission's a political. They're like the ACLU now.
They're useless.
But listen, I'm going to tell you, I'm calling the ACLU tomorrow, and I'm going to say, I'm a taxpayer. We wanted an audit of the state. The state refuses to do an audit, and the chairman of the Ways and Means said, we can't audit them because one agency can't audit the other agency. But the Constitution says it's not the other agency now. The people of the state of Massachusetts, at over 70% of the vote, said they want it audited. Will you represent the citizens of the state of Massachusetts? And if they told me no, well, everybody will know that the ACLU is useless. We know
they
that.
Are useless.
Let them prove it again.
Yeah.
But we got some major issues over on we talked about that on Monday. We touched it. We have a little bit more information on what's going on in the school department. So, CJ, you want to illuminate our viewers?
Well, I was waiting for some documentation.
Well, now it's alleged. We don't have the documentation.
Right. I was waiting for some documentation from one of our sources at the school department, and they didn't get to me before the show. So I really can't get into it any more than we already did. But in regards to the school department, I can get into this new director of multilingual learners for the Fall River Public Schools, Kelly
Oh,
Ann Cooney. She worked for the city before. And this Wokey has contracts with the city, serving as a consultant.
consultant, our favorite word.
Right, serving as a consultant for multilingual learners. She serves on committees across the country and throughout the state. And she expects to work for the city of Fall River full time? I have a problem with this. According to the Fall River Public Schools, Cooney is a nationally recognized instructional leader with more than 25 years of experience and brings deep expertise in culturally and linguistically sustaining practices, multilingual education systems, and language-focused curriculum and instruction. In addition to her prior work in Fall River, she has held district leaderships in Southbridge and Nantucket. Her professional experience also includes state and national level initiatives through the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, the WIDA, and several national organizations. She currently holds contracts with the Fall River Public Schools.
How much?
Okay? And you're right, Boomer. She said publicly on her social media that if you're a Trump supporter, you're a Nazi. This is what we got in our Fall River Public School system.
She should not be allowed to have a contract or teach. She should not be in any capacity involved in the educational system after she put something like that down. I'm sorry.
She's a crazy person.
And obviously she's politically connected because she's got jobs all over the state in the wokey system. And you wonder why Massachusetts is our educational system is a disaster, except in extremely rich towns. But these wokies, she actually went on and said they're Nazis. Teachers have been fired, disciplined. You're going to hire this woman. And remember, Trump took the city of Fall River.
That's right.
So she just called the majority of voters in Fall River Nazis.
That's right.
She's a bigot. She's a racist. She's what she accuses everybody else of being. But she's a politically connected person. How much is she making on the contracts?
I don't know. I don't have her contract.
This is the problem.
I was supposed to get a contract today.
Job in Fall River, and when they leave, they stay here as a consultant.
Right. Well,
so
here's a funny quote. I'm so happy that Kelly is returning to the Fall River Public Schools. She is a thoughtful, student-oriented leader, and I'm confident that her return will elevate the experiences of our multilingual learners and their families. I look forward to seeing her working alongside our educators across the district. Cooney will begin her role on January 12, 2026. Reflecting on her return to the Fall River schools, Ms. Cooney said, Fall River's multilingual students and families bring strong linguistic, cultural, and academic strengths that enrich teaching and learning across our schools. I am honored to serve this community and thrilled to join a leadership team that views multilingualism as a strength and is committed to building instructional systems that honor students' full identities. Those identities obviously don't include Trump supporters.
But wait a minute. Who wrote that ringing endorsement?
Oh, the mother Nazi over at the public school system, the superintendent.
Yeah, the superintendent that wants a welcoming environment, not an educational environment. Paul Coogan started by saying our educational system, he said during his swearing in and post-swearing in on some media platform, that our educational system is improving. Like we were in the bottom 5 in the state. What are we on now? The bottom 6? The bottom 7? The guy's been in the education system for over 40 years. Over 40 years. And this educational system has done nothing but gotten worse. And he's supposed to be an educator. This needs a house cleaning. If
well,
this
here's my thing. Here's my thing.
Person in after calling everybody a Nazi, they all, already they're compromised.
Now, here's my thing. I don't remember that coming before the school committee for approval of her contract. I don't know if it has to. If Colin is still here, I'd greatly appreciate some input on that. But based upon the fact that she called Trump supporters Nazis, okay, and we've seen this in other school systems where teachers lost their jobs. And they said it's a First Amendment right. Well, yes, it is a First Amendment right, okay? But you don't have the right to shove that down my children's throat at all.
I don't know about their contract if they're going to try to play we don't have to negotiate this contract with you, but they have to fund it.
That's right.
So Colin and people over there who give a shit, we should not be hiring people to educate our children who are going to brainwash them in hatred.
That's right.
She is teaching a language that should not be part of the curriculum. That is the language of hate.
Right. And the thing is, too, like I said, she has 1 or 2 contracts with the school system. They're her contracts, serving as consultants. How can she, as the director of multilingual learning, oversee herself as a consultant for multilingual learning? That's a definite conflict of interest.
Come on, CJ. This is the Coogan administration. You had Mike Coogan sitting on the labor side. You had Tom Coogan sitting on the school side, and his brother funding the contract. Well, that's not a conflict of interest, is it? Of course it is. But they got a lockdown on the city. We have the most corrupt city in Massachusetts, without a doubt. We have a criminal organization running the city of Fall River. Nobody cares. They're going to hire a Nazi, somebody that's going to call everybody else a Nazi when she's a Nazi. So what is she going to do? Are we going to have a form that you have to, a box that you have to check that say, even though my parents voted for Donald Trump, I will never vote for Donald Trump or any Republican, and then you can teach me how strong my multilingual bullshit is. Because listen, she was here before, she's here now as a consultant, and she's got to be really stupid if she doesn't know where Fall River stands on the education ladder in the state of Massachusetts. We have had a failing school system for years. So she's been part of that system in one capacity or another for a very, very long time. So what we're doing is we're giving her, like Coogan always does, give them another promotion.
That's right.
Give them more money. Let them keep fucking everything up and keep paying them more money. Oh, I mean, that letter was beautiful. I think Tommy Corey might get up at the meeting and sing it to everybody because he's a singer, right?
Well, you know what's funny? You mentioned that? Corey didn't sing at the inauguration. It was an Iraqi.
Well, we have to be. Well,
we got to share the wealth.
Look, we have to be woke.
Yeah,
we have to be woke. But this is crazy. She actually.
Well, remember, I'm a part of the team. Remember this quote? I'm a part of the team.
Yeah.
I'm the only Democrat on this board, as far as I know. I'm a part of the team.
That's right, and you can't get anything.
You can't get anything unless you're part of the team.
You can't get anything unless you're part of the team. So I guess now kids that go to Fall River Public Schools will not get anything if their families support Trump.
That's right. They have to sign a waiver of their rights.
The majority of people voted for Trump in the city.
They have to sign a waiver of their rights. Okay, every one of those kids has to sign a waiver of their rights saying, I will not support Donald Trump, his administration, or his actions. And if I do, I will not learn.
Well, you know, the irony of this shows how stupid all these people are, the wokies. You know, number one, they love to show the swastika and they love to talk about Nazis, but they don't realize that the Nazis were actually socialists. They're communists.
That's right.
They were communists. They don't even know that. It was a National Socialist Party. Do your freaking homework. You're supposed to be educators, you morons.
We got to change our T-shirts. We've got to change our T-shirts. Do your freaking homework.
That's right. And the swastika, by the way, was actually a peace symbol in many cultures. If you go back 700 years, actually, there's a Japanese Shorinji Kempo, which is a martial arts style that had something that looked like a swastika as the symbol of the martial art, which was Buddhist in origin, which is a very peaceful religion about finding it, becoming at one with yourself. You don't see a lot of Buddhists starting wars. You see a lot of Muslims starting wars. You see other religions. But when was the last time you saw the Buddhists fighting it out in the street? They don't. They might burn themselves, but they don't do that. These people are they're insane. That's right. And you're right, Boomer. I mean, it's projection. If you took Psych 101 and you learned about coping mechanisms and defense mechanism, they talk to you about what projection is. Projection is when you project your problem on somebody else. It's like, oh, every crook thinks everybody else is a thief.
Hey, I just figured it out. She's a multilingual learner specialist, right? Here it is. Hey, Mrs.
Yeah.
I smell an asshole. That's you. Maybe she can understand that one.
And what is she going to say? Is she going to get up there when she gets elected and say, Du bist Deutsche, ja, ich bin Deutsche, alles für Deutschland?
Right.
Yo, that was the opening of Hitler's speech in Munich. Are you German? Yeah. I am German. We are all Germans. That was the opening of Hitler's most famous speech to 1 million people in Munich. She's a Nazi. She's the Nazi. I don't care what race, color, religion, or who their parents voted for. The school department has one goal: to educate our children. They have been failing for decades, and they hire somebody with already
a history.
Proven. She is tainted. She is not going to be inclusive. She is going to do everything she can to eliminate people who think differently than she does. That is not what an educational system is supposed to do. I'm sorry. She should be disqualified. Her contract should be canceled. But oh no, she's got them all over the state. I'll bet you she's pals with Mora.
Probably.
And this is what the wokies do. They write each other these glowing, oh, she's a wonderful, she's nationally known. Yeah, and so is Al Sharpton, the world's greatest race baiter, who's made millions disparaging everybody. You don't hear anybody quoting Martin Luther King anymore. You hear Al Sharpton, he's still alive, which is a testament to that old adage: only the good die young. So they shot MLK, but MLK said, let's not look at skin color. Let's judge people by the content of their character. Oh, I don't even know what the salary rate is. We just
they haven't released it yet. And I don't even think the school committee has said it. I've asked Colin to make a comment if he's still here, but I don't know if the school committee has authority to approve or deny her contract. I don't know if they have the ability to alter her contract or alter her salary, because that's an executive function.
Well, they're going to fund it. They're the funding arm.
I know that they've got to fund
They
it.
have to approve the collective bargaining agreements, right?
Yep.
So they got to fund the money, and I don't want them to try to use that con. We can't do anything. It's an executive decision. Yeah, you can. Like when a council pull that shit. Yes, you can. Coogan's going to tell you, that clown Rumsey's going to tell you, you don't have any say, which you do, by the way.
That's right.
Which you do, by the way. Read the collective bargaining law. It's very clear. It doesn't say that you can negotiate a contract. It clearly says that the contract is between the city and whoever they're negotiating.
Right.
Or the school committee and whoever they're negotiating with. It's, the mayor negotiates a contract for a confidential employee or an executive employee. Oh, it's an executive decision. But then that same law in Section 6 that stipulates, in case you want to look it up, 150E, Section 6, on who is the exclusive bargaining agent, et cetera, et cetera. Then in Section 7, it goes on to say, within 30 days of the execution of an agreement, it has to be brought before the appropriate public body. In other words, the funding body, which is the school committee or the city council, and be funded. And if they don't fund it, it goes back. It's gone. It's dead. The contract's dead. They got a choice. They can either just throw it in the trash, go look for somebody else, or they can renegotiate. And this is not theoretical. This is factual. The last one I know that was rejected was in Attleboro, when the Attleboro firefighters got an award.
I remember that one.
Joint Labor Management Commission. The mayor had to honor that agreement and take it before the council to fund. The council went, no, we're not going to fund it. And the contract was null and void, and it took them another 3 years.
And if you remember correctly, when Fall River got an award from the JLMC, Paul Coogan sent a letter to the city council not to fund it. Remember that?
Yep.
So he's not going to say he didn't know that.
Over 80 grand, 180 grand. I'd say that's pretty ballpark.
Yeah.
I'd say pretty ballpark. Let's have some guesses. I'm going between 100 and I'm not going to be that specific, Bowie. I'm going to give myself a little latitude so I can be I'd say 150 to 200K. 150K to 200K. That's my guess. Let's see what happens. But let's see if they fund it. And I'm tired of these people always trying to get out of their responsibility. There's nothing we can do about it. Yes, there is. I told you, I spoke to one of the best labor lawyers in the country about what they say. And you know what he said? That's bullshit. Mayor does something, you can say no, you can sue the mayor. Sue the city. It's your legal obligation to look at those numbers. Just say, well, they won't give it to us. Well, don't vote. File a complaint. File a lawsuit. We have a new school committee. We have new people on it. We have new people on the city council. Now, when they tell you this, file a lawsuit. File a lawsuit against them. I'll give you the lawyer's name. I'll give you a few lawyers' names. You'll win. We got all the case law. I got about 300 pages of case law that says that you are obligated, not optional. It's not an optional requirement. You are obligated to look, quote unquote, I don't have to look at that page, with a critical eye at the numbers. You are obligated to look deeper than the numbers presented to you because you are a fiduciary. And a public fiduciary, which has more responsibility than a regular fiduciary because you're dealing with taxpayer money, not investors' money. So when the next time I hear it as an excuse, I'm calling the bullshit. I'm making the bullshit call. This isn't a 15-yard penalty. It's a 99-yard penalty. That's it. Bullshit. I don't want to hear it. You guys are not doing your job. You're not doing your job. Sue the damn mayor. Who did they hire? They hired Huey, Louie, and Screwy. When the council got their own legal representative, who they get? Somebody who does nothing more than deal with municipalities. So What are you going to do if they're representing the council? They write one opinion, and if they're representing the city, they're like
They write
Roman.
another one, and
They write
that's
the other
exactly
side.
what they did. That's
That's
exactly what
exactly
JP
what
Law
they
did.
did, and they lost all credibility. So what
That's
did the
right.
council do? The council got rid of them as lawyers and said, we're not going to get a lawyer. No, the answer is get a real freaking lawyer.
That's right.
Not a lawyer that works for the cities, not a lawyer that works for both sides. Get a labor lawyer. Get a real freaking lawyer, one with a proven record of taking cities on and kicking their balls in. That's who you get. No. It's always the political concept. Oh, we tried. Oh, we questioned it. Oh, yeah, Sean asked all the right questions. Oh, this is wrong. That's wrong. This is wrong. That number's wrong. This number's wrong. This is wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. And some of the can't we do this? Over here we do that. All in favor? Aye. And that's what happens, right? After all that shit, it's like, okay, we're going to give them the money. After I spend a half an hour pontificating on how screwed up this is. Yep. Okay, that's it, James. You got me digging through my files again for the stuff I have to use almost on every show. Yeah, Paul. I think he plagiarized himself. Wait a minute. There you go. This is a draft of Paul's letter to the transition committee before he came. Integrity and a well-run, well-organized city government of Coogan's administration's highest priority. A well-run government. So it's like fiscal responsibility. The foundation on which we can continue to build a clean, safe, and fiscally sound city. Transparency, accountability, and ethical standards. So there you go. So he went on to talk about all about this whole shit 6 years ago. Really, Paul? Are we going to have to pull a Joe Biden? Do we have a 25th Amendment in the charter? I don't know. We're going to have to check. Paul already forgot what he said 7 years ago, because that's his words, not mine. But fiscal responsibility. You haven't been fiscally responsible since the freaking day you were born. You don't even know. I don't even know if you know what the word fiscal means. I think somebody just wrote it down there for you. You would have probably wrote physical responsibility if somebody didn't tell you it was a different word. But yeah, this is absurd. I mean, yeah, reckless spending, double the tax rates, double the budget. Oh, Colin, we do have, I believe. Yeah, we do. 3-8, huh?
Colin, does the school committee have the right to reject Cooney's contract? I know you have the right to not fund it, so if you can't reject it, just make a motion not to fund the contract. Then she doesn't get the job. But according to everything else, she starts on Monday. How can she start? The school committee hasn't even approved it.
Okay. What is that acronym actually?
Yeah, what's FRAA?
Delete it. Make a motion to delete it.
Yeah, make a motion to delete it.
Screw it. Let them shoot it down and say that she called everybody a Nazi.
Yeah, because she called everyone a Nazi, so.
Do we want somebody in our school system that called everybody who supported Donald Trump a Nazi? And remind everybody that the city of Fall River voted. Trump won Fall River.
That's
so
right.
She's just basically the majority of people in that school. Yeah, just the union. Yeah, but what's the union?
Must be the administrators union.
So why does not the administrators union has to bargain? If she's in a union, that makes it even more within your jurisdiction, because if she's bargaining through a union and they're an exclusive bargaining agent, which they are, because I happen to know who the president of that union is. It's George Ackley. Am I correct, Colin? Is it George Ackley?
But remember, Colin, she's not in the union yet. She's not in the union yet, though. She hasn't been hired yet. If the school department hasn't accepted her, she hasn't been hired yet.
Well, number one, a union can't represent her if she's not a member of the union, and she can't be a member of the union unless she's an employee.
That's right.
So the whole thing is full of shit, Colin. Take it from somebody who knows unions. Okay? I can't represent firefighters who are on a firefighter list. For 25 years, when somebody came to me and said, "Oh, I'm on a list for firefighter, and I want you to, can I do this and I can do that?" I say, "I can't do a damn thing for you. You have to become a certified member of the union. You have to get hired on the job. You come on a job. You're going to have a year probation. We can represent you for everything except termination for 1 year, because for 1 year, the city can terminate without cause. And you don't have the protection under Section 41, sections 41 through 45, which is the civil service thing.
And remember, Colin, she already has 2 contracts with the school department serving as a consultant for MLL.
Yeah, she called people a Nazi, James, on one of her platforms. She called anybody who supported Donald Trump a Nazi. But, Colin, let me explain something. I think George Ackley's the president of the union. They can't be in the union unless they're in the union. If she's not hired yet, she's not a member of the union. They cannot. They're violating a collective bargaining law.
Right.
And I'll give you the law, Chapter 150E, Section 6. And it'll say in Section 6 that any contract negotiation is between the city or the school committee, in your case, and the exclusive bargaining agent for the members of that union. In other words, in my contract or every other contract in the city, my contract said this contract is between the city of Fall River, hereinafter referred to as the city, and Local 1314, International Association of Firefighters, hereinafter referred to as the union, that is the exclusive bargaining agent for the uniformed firefighters of the city of Fall River. Every contract has that, or should have that. 150E is clear. She can't be in that bargaining unit.
Not yet.
She can't be in that bargaining unit. She's not in the union. They can't bargain for her. It's against the law. She's not a dues-paying member yet. They've got to accept her into the union. And if they bargain for the union, here's another one. Write it down. You can call me if you're forgetting all these things, because I know this shit verbatim. Chapter 6 will tell you what I just told you about exclusive bargaining agents. Section 6, 150. Section 7 will then say, I believe it's subsection B, but it's one of the subsections, that within 30 days of the execution of a collective bargaining agreement or a bargaining agreement, that's the union, so now it comes under the exclusive bargaining agent, it said that it has to be brought to the appropriate authority to be funded. That's the school committee in your case. So you have to vote on funding it. Number one, it's an illegal bargaining. And why doesn't it surprise me? Mike Coogan, the guy who got thrown out of a union for pulling illegal shit, is now bargaining on the city side. And then he got his brother Tom a job there too. He's bargaining in Somerset with the school committee. Talk about corruption. Talk about shit. Well, what are you going to do? Go complain to Maura Healey? She go, "Oh, shut up. Paul's my pal." Remember, he's part of the team. Like CJ said, he's part of the team. Yeah, but the position is in the union, Colin, not her. Not her. Colin. Now you're going to get some real. I'm not going to charge you for this consultation because I used to charge for consulting for other unions. The position is in the union. They can bargain the salary for the union, but they can't bargain for her, and that they are de facto bargaining for her.
Right.
Because that's what they're doing. They're going to say, you hire her, she's going to get this salary because the union bargained the salary. They did not bargain her contract. They can't bargain her contract.
That's right.
They can't. She's not a member of the union. And the city should not be bargaining for an unfilled position, technically. I don't get the bargain for firefighters off the job salary. The salary is the salary. Whatever the salary was before she ever became a candidate is the salary that she should get when she starts the job. That salary should already be in there.
And not only that, Colin, remember, she has contracts with the city already.
That's right, with the conflict of interest.
So if she's going to take this position as MLL, whatever, okay, administrator, then her contract should become null and void because it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
She's double or triple dipping. You can't do that.
I'm going to tell you, Colin, I don't know you're going to confirm it, but let me give you a little bit of advice. There's not one person in this city that works for the city on the city side that knows a fucking thing about collective bargaining under freaking the state law. That's why they lose all the time. That's why they lose. They don't have a clue.
No, they don't.
They don't have a clue. I got the best lawyer in the country. You know how many times I had lawyers call me about collective bargaining issues because they're not specialists in collective bargaining? I know more than most lawyers. They're about 98% of them. You got to this is a specialty field. You got to go to a guy that does it. There are a few, just like criminal law. Criminal law, you got, what's his name there? The guy that represented Reddington. You got Reddington. You got a few big time lawyers, like you had, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit, and all these guys. Well, they're a specialist in collective bargaining law. You think it's a coincidence that cities lose all the time? 98% of the time they lose when they go against unions. They got good lawyers because they don't know the rats from a post hole. They violate the law all the time. And in this city, they don't even pay it. They don't even look at the law. They just do whatever the fuck they want and tell you it's okay. Then you got some clown like Rumsey telling you, yeah, they can do that. That'll be the freaking day. I wish I was still representing the union. I would run a poker so far up their ass and come out of their ears.
Do you know that in my lawsuit against the city, do you know who represented the city? An attorney who handles property damage claims for the city.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay? That's who handled my case.
Listen.
And he was handed it to him like just before we went to trial.
I'm going to tell you, and I know how you feel because I remember when I took over the union at first and we went up to Boston and it was like we had, like I said,
Marty Ladera.
We had the best. We had one of the best lawyers. In my opinion, probably the best lawyer in the country. He's lectured throughout the country. But we went up there and we had same thing. We had some lawyer that was like doing pothole claims. Or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like we were in there and it's like, and I'm sitting there and I'm poking our lawyer and going, what? You going to object to anything? And he looked at me and he said, no, so he said, I got to talk to you guys. My guys are getting upset. And he said, look, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He said, I don't have to object to anything. The judge knows he's an idiot. He said, when he gets done, I'm going to just say everything he said was wrong, cite the law, and the case will be over. And that's exactly what happened. We won. He said, look, if you want me to go in there and ruin him, he said he'll probably, get out of the practice of law. He can get away with it in Fall River, but you can't get away with it here. We got to go by the law. And he said, I'll go in there and rip him a new asshole. I said, nah, no, go ahead, but you better win because then I'm going to rip you one. But it was like, we went in there. He went babbled on and on and on and on and on. And then, at the end, our attorney got up and said, I thought, blah, 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 blah. This is the case law. These are the precedents, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we find in favor of the union. See you freaking later. And then we had another guy go in there, and he argued for 20 minutes about the contract language, and he brought the wrong contract up there. It wasn't even our contract. So when he got done arguing about the contract language, he looked at our lawyer and said, what's the union's position? He said, the union has no position. That's not even in the contract. This is what you got, people. This is what we're paying $200,000 to have. We shouldn't even have a law department. We should have one guy in charge of potholes and workman's comp claims, and then they should hire specialists.
That's right.
And we wouldn't have this shit. But we pay all of these clowns to run down to the council and lie to the council or Bruce Assad to bullshit the school committee for 100 years when they know nobody's going to take them to court. There's no more union guys like me, no more or like Billy Kaler in the school department that'll take them to court. So they get away with this shit. But believe me, everything they're doing is illegal. You can't negotiate. They can't negotiate for her. She's not a member of the union. Her contract was negotiated. If they negotiated that contract for her, they negotiated illegally. She's not a member of the union. She can't be a member of the union until she's hired.
That's right.
And you're going to hire her.
And according to the press release from the Queen Mother, she starts on Monday the 12th. So, she doesn't work for the city yet. She's a consultant.
Yeah, she's a consultant. And she's going to start on Monday. And when's the committee meeting? She's going to start before you approve her appointment?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, look at everything about this is like a shit.
It's illegal.
It's horrible.
They're putting the cart before the horse.
You're right, Boma. Now the new school committee will have a chance to show up.
That's right, and we'll see if they do. This will be the meeting that says it all.
Yeah,
this will be the meeting
everything
that says it all.
about this is illegal. Everything about it. If you want to talk about it, Colin, I can talk about detail, but I gave you the chapter and verse. You can't do what they're doing. Everything they're doing is illegal.
But you have to approve the funding for her appointment.
Yeah, and her appointment was the fruit of a poison tree.
Right.
Because everything they did was illegal.
Right.
They in advance, they set up her contract. They did everything else in advance with a candidate, and the union had no right to negotiate it. If they negotiated her contract separately as a confidential employee, which she isn't, because you said she's a member of the union, everything's ass backwards. Well, she was a consultant, Jimmy. She's already got a consultant job with the city.
Right.
So now she's going to have a consultant job, and who knows if she's going to keep the other, which is a contract.
Two consulting jobs.
You can't make this shit up.
Right. Two consulting jobs. And a full-time job. Plus her jobs with the state. Plus her jobs with the national organizations. How can she do it all? She's going to be a part-time employee in the city of shitheads making full-time pay.
You see this? That is the Bible. See what that says?
A guide to the Massachusetts Public Employees Collective Bargaining.
Law. Not, it's not optional. It is not optional. It is everything but optional, okay? And this is what it says in section 6. It was over there. I didn't read it first. The employer and the exclusive bargaining agent shall meet at reasonable times, including meetings in advance and blah, 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 blah. And there it is, the exclusive bargaining agent. Any collective bargaining, in Section 7, it says any collective bargaining agreement reached between the employer and the exclusive bargainer shall not exceed 3 years and blah, blah, blah. Then it goes on in the other section to tell you that you have to approve the money within 30 days, and that is by the other body, not the school committee and it is between the funding body, which is the school committee or the city council. So it is in your purview. It's a union contract. Don't you fund those contracts? Don't you fund those contracts? Of course you do. Of course you do.
And if Curly's the one that told you it's not in your purview, turn around and tell her, "Fuck you, you lying bitch." Stop having a set of balls.
I probably wouldn't frame it in that context.
I would.
But you know, it is just crazy that
at least I have one supporter out there.
what did he say?
It says right there, "Go for it, CJ."
Yeah, but you know, it's clear. I sent that to the city council. I guess I got to send it to the school committee. I'll send you the site. But listen, it's clearly stated it is in your purview because it says that. Yeah, you're right. It's not in your purview to negotiate the contract because the school committee doesn't negotiate supposedly that contract. The city's designee, and I think you could actually argue about that because technically it's the mayor who designates who represents the mayor. I think the school committee could say, we don't want Bruce Assad to negotiate the contracts anymore. We want to negotiate the contract. And that would stand up in court. But that's for another day. But the reality is that it's a union contract, and the law is clear about union contracts. I sent that to the city council a million times. That the law clearly states that within 30 days of an execution of a contract, it has to be brought before, and the wording in it is the appropriate body to be funded. And all elements of that contract should be funded. Remember, how many times on this show have we talked about how No, Ray, you know something, Ray? Yeah, but I'll add to that. Yeah, at the end of that tirade, CJ, add, yeah, and please, with all due respect, fucking do it. I don't know. We're getting crazy now. But listen, well, whoever negotiated the contract, yeah, well, there you go. He's bypassing the law. If they're in a union, they got to be negotiating with, unfortunately, Mike Coogan, but they got to be.
Look who our bargaining agent is.
Well, the only way that Kenny Pacheco could act as their bargaining agent is if he was designated their exclusive bargaining agent, because the law is clear. The law is absolutely 100% as clear as a bell. And I know, like I said, I know that shit by heart, and I got all this shit on my computer. But so, because I wrote most of it shit in my contract, but this is firefighter's contract. And this is the way virtually every contract should read. This agreement is made by and between the city of Fall River, hereinafter referred to as the employer, which pretty well says what I said, and Local 1314 International Association of Firefighters, AFL-CIO, hereinafter, referred to as the union. Whereas Local 1314 has been recognized as the collective bargaining representative of all uniformed firefighters of the Fall River Fire Department, except the chief, and whereas the Fall River is desirous of recognizing said union, et cetera, et cetera. So listen, they can designate, like, the man never bargained directly with me, probably because he hated me, but and all the mayors have, which I don't give a shit. But the reality is that if he designated Kenny Pacheco as his bargaining agent, there has to be a documentation that he was the designated bargaining agent.
That's right.
That's right, James. Even to my dog. Yeah. But therein lies the problem. They tell you guys that, the superintendent now has become a Nazi. It's not within your purview. Oh, yes, it is. I don't care what Bruce Assad says. I gave you case law. I got tons of case law that says they have to give you numbers. They say, well, you don't need the numbers. Oh, yes, you do. They have to give you the numbers. As one of our crew said, it's up to you guys to start growing a set. You got a new school committee to start taking them to court. Tell Bruce, fuck you. We're taking you to court. You're going to tell me I don't have the numbers? I'll give you the case law. I'll give your lawyer the case law. He doesn't even have to look this shit up. You know how many times I beat the city? All the time. All the time. Never lost an unfair labor practice. Never lost a JLMC. First person in the city to take the city of Fall River to the Joint Labor Management Commission to on a collective bargaining agreement impasse. Not once, but twice. Both times we won. It's like, yeah. No, I know, but you got to do more than just get on the record and saying that. It isn't our purview because they're going to go, well, fuck you, Colin. We don't care.
Hey, here's what I got to say. The superintendent told you that? Say, with all due respect, ma'am, go fuck yourself. Okay, that's how I would handle it.
Well, I will send you a couple. When's the next meeting?
Monday.
Huh?
Monday.
This coming Monday?
Yep.
All right, Colin. I'll email you a copy of the sections of the law, and you can bring them to the meeting, and you can give them to the superintendent and say, "Read this, asshole." See, that's a little bit kinder than CJ.
No, I'm not kind. I stopped being kind a long time ago.
You can show her the law. Show Bruce's side. Say, tell me this isn't applicable. I want to see. Do me a favor. Get me a contract under the Fall River Administrators Association. And I believe George Ackley is still the president. Good friend of mine, actually. I want to see how that contract opens. See if it opens the way our contract. See if it says that they're the designated exclusive bargaining agent. And if that's the case, who is the designated bargaining agent for the city of Fall River School Committee? I want to know. And if they show you a contract and they do multifaceted things, if there's somebody that's not stipulated in the opening of a contract, that is, by the way, signed at the end as an instrument, because if you look at these contracts, my signature's there, the mayor's signature's there, the city, the attorney's signature's there, and the bargaining committee's signature's there. That's the way it's supposed to be done under the law. So they can tell you anything they want, but they got to show you, because I can show the law. So Bruce is the exclusive bargaining agent. So why does Kenny Pacheco bargain a contract? The exclusive bargaining agent can't delegate that authority. The exclusive bargaining agent who stipulated in a contract. Local 1314 has a bargaining agent, and we are the bargaining agents, and we have a bargaining committee that's stipulated in our bylaws: the president, the 3 chair officers, and 3 members from the general membership. That is the composition of the bargaining committee and our attorney who represents us. Listen, I know the law. I know the law. They're full of shit. They're full of shit. That's why they hate me, because I know the law. That's why they don't want to hear it. You send them the letters. They say, well, we didn't know. Well, you do know. I told Coogan 6 years ago about the shortfalls in healthcare. I know the freaking laws. That's why they lose.
Well,
these people, they're men with paper asses. That's what they are.
Well, let me tell you something. Colin brings up a good point about making side deals. That's why the city does memorandums of agreement.
Wait a minute.
They don't want to write new contracts. So they just add in these side deals.
Wait a minute. I'm glad now you're getting me fired up now. Because you know this is my wheelhouse here. Okay. Wait a minute. Attempts to bypass the collective bargaining procedure, i.e. the union. Okay, wait a minute. 1153. Good faith bargaining. Hang on. I'm getting to it. Good faith bargaining. Attempts to bypass the union. You cannot bypass the union. You can't make side deals. You have to bargain. The statute is clear. I've got all kinds of case law. King Philip Regional School Committee versus refusal to negotiate, to bypass the union, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, MLC 1405, attempts to bypass the union. It is well established that the duty to bargain collectively with the exclusive representative mandates that an employer may not deal directly with employees in the bargaining unit on matters that are properly the subject of negotiations with the bargaining unit's exclusive representative. That's the fucking law. I just read you the law. Okay? That's right out of 150E. And here's some of the sites. Blue Hills Regional School Committee. 3, MLC 1613, 1977. Lawrence School Committee. 3, MLC 1314, 76. Section 5 of the law permits an employee to meet with an employee to resolve grievances, not the collective bargaining. That's the freaking law. I'm not making this shit up. And the reason they lose is because they don't pay attention. And the people we elected to represent don't make them pay attention. That's the bottom line. You picked the wrong dog to fight this fight with, because I got way too much experience in this ballpark.
Yes, you do. Well, we've gone almost 15 minutes over. Okay? And I think there's a whole lot more we can talk about. Yeah. And more is going to come out over the week. So we'll have to see what happens. I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Friday. Have a great day, and see you then.